There are 5 key project management processes that are very important. These process groups are initiating, planning, executing, monitoring and controlling, and lastly, closing. All 5 processes are very important in project management and will determine if your project will fail or succeed.
The first process of project management is initiation. This process also happens at the beginning of each of the 5 processes. The first stage of initiation is developing the scope of the project. During initiation, a project manager should identify the project stakeholders. This may include CEOs, directors, and team members. Also, during this process, the project manager should draft the project charter. A project charter will be a memo that includes details of the project, like the start and finish date, objectives, names of the members, and roles. The initiating process group involves activities and skills needed to effectively define the beginning of the project. In this phase, a project manager should be collecting all permits, authorizations, and initial work orders if needed to secure an effective progression throughout all project phases. Setting clear phases for work to be completed, initializing teams, and having a budget in place before work begins are vital for a strong start to any project across industries.
The second process is planning. Planning includes organizing tasks to ensure that the project addresses the company's needs. The project will include several deliverables like a cost plan, a procurement plan, a work breakdown structure, and a schedule. The cost plan is a document that includes all costs, both exclusive and non-exclusive. This can include the cost for equipment or cost for the employment of employees. A procurement plan is used to decide what to buy and from what source. When planning the time of a project, things to consider would be activities lists with the estimated duration and developing a schedule to keep projects on time. A schedule is a listing of a project's milestones, activities, and deliverables, usually with an intended start and finish date. A work breakdown structure is a key deliverable that organizes the team's work. In addition, some aspects that can be considered during this phase include team contracts and a list of possible risks.
The next process is executing, which is traditionally the most time-consuming portion of a project. Executing is the phase when deliverables are developed and ultimately completed. During this phase, the project manager coordinates both people and other project-related resources. In addition, external resources such as vendor consultants or hardware are procured. The project manager informs teams of their responsibilities and ensures activities in the project plan are executed. The primary outcome of this stage is producing the actual work specified, like research and development or product testing. The project manager would direct and manage this project work, which includes overseeing performance of employees, document updates, and plan updates. In addition, the project manager would perform quality assurance by setting up tracking systems, holding regular status meetings, and ultimately updating the project schedule and plan as needed. This process is likely to include documents like a milestone report to see what tasks are being completed and who they're being completed by. A milestone report may also document any problems experienced while trying to complete tasks. Another top priority for project managers during this stage is to manage stakeholder expectations. Whether the project is going well, underperforming, or changes are required, the project managers manage stakeholder expectations by communicating project details.
The fourth process, monitoring and controlling, occurs during other stages of the model to ensure that the team will meet objective goals. More often, the overlap occurs over the execution phase of the 5-process model. Project managers will monitor the status and progress of the project against the project plan to evaluate if changes need to be made. These changes can involve the project timeline, scope, or resources. For instance, If the work completed for a goal isn't being completed as scheduled, a project manager has the option of making adjustments to get on track with the project plan. A project manager could extend the project by changing milestone dates, or they could hire more people to complete the work so it gets done on time. Other tasks that may need to be monitored are controlling the scope, the schedule, the cost, communications, risk, procurements, and the quality. Documentation that may be provided during this process is a weekly progress report. This report will list all work completed for the week, work that needs to be completed for next week, what is going well for the project, what can be improved for the project, suggestions, issues, and project changes.
The last process is the closing process. This is when the team and the stakeholders accept that the project is done or ending. However, for the closing of a project, this ultimately means that the stakeholders and consumers like the final product. The project manager schedules a meeting to cover the successes or failures learned during the project. The meeting may include documentation or a presentation, and inviting the stakeholders is also encouraged. During this meeting, it is important to be open with the team as how everything went. The team can give their opinions as well. Documentation that can be used in the closing of a project is a lessons learned report. This report will reflect on how the overall project went from start to finish, and it will document if the project was successful or unsuccessful. The closing process is used to give closure to a project whether it failed or not, and to learn from past mistakes and successes.
Each of the processes are categorized by finishing certain tasks, and that is what makes each process unique. The 5 project management processes are extremely important to project management and can be used in any setting. For example, a short video by a group of students, or a large corporation producing an Android application.